There was a king who ruled in a country. His justice was very famous. In his eyes, rich and poor were all equal. In matters of justice, he did not even care about his children. One day, the king was lying down and resting in his palace, when suddenly someone called him. The king woke up. The king looked around carefully, but he could not see anyone. The king was very surprised as to who was calling him. Once again he heard a voice, "O king, listen to my plea." Now the king got up in fear and asked, "Who is it who is pleading to me?" Then came the voice, "O king, do not be afraid. We belong to the community of Jinnat. I am the king of Jinnat. You are a noble and just king, and one of your agents has captured my child. I have come to you with a plea that my child should be released from the captivity of that agent." When the king heard this, he asked, "Who is that agent? And where does he live?" The king of Jinnat said, "That person is your Qazi." The king said, "On." Hearing this, he was surprised and said, "Okay, you go. I will talk to the Qazi in the morning. After that, the decision will be taken." The king of Jinnat saluted and left from there with his companions. After this, the king again lay down on the bed and started thinking about this, and then he fell asleep and he slept. In the morning, when he reached the court, a woman came to his court and requested the king for justice. The king asked, "Who has wronged you, and why did you not go to the Qazi's court? Don't you have patience with our Qazi?" On hearing this, the old woman said, "Your Majesty, I have come with a complaint against that Qazi." The king said with surprise, "Okay." The old woman said, "Sir, I had an only son. He was playing in the garden when suddenly someone burst his eye. He is in a very bad condition due to pain. I got him treated, but the eye could not be cured. I went to the Qazi's court with a complaint that whoever has burst my child's eye should also be given the same punishment, and his eye should also be burst." The Qazi heard the whole incident, but the culprit has not been arrested yet. Today, fed up, I have come to your court with a complaint. Whenever I see the eyes of my child, my heart breaks. I will not get peace until the cruelty done to my child is avenged. Saying this, the old woman started crying bitterly. The king consoled her and said, "Don't worry, you will get complete justice." The old woman went away blessing the king. The king was very upset. He had full faith in his Qazi that in the matter of justice, there was no other person in his country who was a better judge than him. He got up from the court and went towards the royal garden and started thinking about this while walking. Finally, after a lot of thinking, he himself agreed to go to the Qazi's court. The king had great respect for the court, so he wanted to go to the court himself and get information about this. On the other hand, the Qazi had also come to know that the king wanted to meet him. The Qazi told his guard that until I give permission, I will not do anything. I will say that no one should be allowed to enter my court, even if he is a king. When the king reached the door of the court, the guard did not let him go inside. Now the king was very upset. If he wanted, he could have removed the Qazi from his position immediately, but he had respect for the court in his heart. He did not want to set a wrong precedent. Finally, disappointed, he returned to the palace. Only a little while had passed when the voice of the king of the Jinnat was heard. He said, "Oh, Adil king, I have come as per your wish. Tell me, what do you say about my son?" The king's face showed extreme trouble. He said in a very emotional tone, "O king of the Jinnat, give me some more time. I promise that I will definitely release your son from the custody of the Qazi." Hearing this, the king of the Jinnat went back with his companions, and the king again got lost in deep thoughts. He knew that there was definitely some problem in this matter, that the Qazi had imprisoned the son of the Jinnat. On the other side, in the evening, the king of the Jinnat was standing. When the Qazi was going home from the court, he was very upset. When he reached home with heavy steps, his only daughter Safiya was very upset to see her father in such a state and said, "Abba Huzur, are you all right? You look very upset today." The Qazi told the entire incident to his daughter, Safiya. Hearing this, his daughter said, "Abba Huzur, your problem is solved. If somehow that child's eyesight is cured, then that old woman can be convinced by giving her some reward or something." The Qazi said, "Yes, daughter, but the thing to think about is that the boy's eyesight has been lost, and how can it be cured?" The father and daughter were talking when the Jinnat's son spoke up. "Qazi Sahab, I am very ashamed of my actions. This boy had troubled me a lot. Whenever I sat down to grow in this garden, he would come there and play, jump and make noise. One day I got very angry and I slapped him, which caused his eye to burst. If somehow sapphire water is obtained, then a single drop of it will restore the eyesight of the boy, and he will be fine." Safiya asked Jinzaid, "Where can I get Abe Neelam?" Jinzaid said that Neelam fairy rules in an area of Ko-e-Kaf. There is a big beautiful pond in the middle of the garden which is equal to her palace. Large blue lotus flowers have bloomed in the pond. On the fourth night of the moon, when the moon passes over the pond, the lotus flowers hide in the pond due to its light, and when it is morning, they come back on the water. The water present inside the flowers at that time is called Abe Neelam, and which dries up during the day after the sun rises. This practice happens only on the 14th of the moon, and tonight is the 14th of the moon. If you release me, I will present Abe Neelam in your service by morning." Hearing this from Jinzaid, the Qazi and his daughter Safiya were in a dilemma whether to trust Jinzaid or not. Finally, they were forced to free Jinzaid. As soon as the first ray of the sun appeared in the morning, when the news reached Qazi's house, he and his daughter Safiya started waiting for Jinzaid very anxiously. Time passed and the whole day passed, but Jinzaid did not return. Due to this, Qazi did not even go to the court today. Now he felt very sorry and he started telling his daughter Safiya, "Daughter, we have committed a big mistake by killing that Jinzaid." Safiya said, "Abba Jan, my heart testifies that whatever Jinzaid had said was correct and not a lie. He has definitely been caught in some trouble." Qazi said, "It is possible, daughter. You are right, but tell me, what should I do?" The king had come to meet me yesterday regarding this. Yesterday I had put him off. Today also the whole day has passed, but tomorrow if the king comes to meet me or summons me to his court, then what will I answer?" Qazi's daughter, who was very intelligent and brave, said, "Abba Jan, you say that I am not your daughter but your son? Then trust me, I will get the water of Neelam from Ko-e-Kaf and return soon. Now just give me permission happily." Qazi was speechless and he gave permission to his daughter, and Safiya slept very well at night, and the next day early in the morning, she disguised herself as a man and rode a fast horse towards Ko-e-Kaf. Although she did not know what the location of Ko-e-Kaf was, but she had left the house trusting in God. Her horse was running like a scent, talking to the wind. It became afternoon and the sun was overhead. The horse was drenched in sweat due to the heat. Safiya was also feeling tired and thirsty. If there was anything else, she would never have undertaken such a difficult journey. But she had a feeling of respect for her father. This was the reason why she continued the journey without caring about tiredness and hunger. But her horse was speechless. How far could it run? Its speed was gradually slowing down. The princess had also realized this. She pulled the reins of the horse and tied it under a shady tree, and she herself lay down under the tree to rest. She had just passed by when she heard the neighing of a horse, and she got up in a hurry. What did she see? A black snake was entering a hole. After biting the horse was lying on the ground in great pain, and snot was flowing from its mouth. The horse died in front of her in no time. Safiya was very shocked by this, but she did not lose courage, and she moved forward on foot. The heat of the sun was increasing gradually. She was very courageous and brave. She was brought up like boys. How could she lose courage in a difficult situation? She kept moving forward. In the meantime, a river forded the other bank of which was at such a distance that it was very difficult to cross the river without a boat. Now she was confused as to what to do next. Suddenly a jinn appeared in front of her with a very scary face, and whose height was also no less than 15 to 20 feet. Seeing that jinn, Safiya got scared for a moment, but then she immediately controlled herself. But that jinn behaved with her with great affection and love. Actually, he was the same jinn king whose son was imprisoned by Safiya's father, i.e. Qazi, and when he did not return, Safiya had left for this mission. The jinn said, "Brave girl, I know where you are going. I have come to help you in this matter. I am the father of that jinn who had gone to get water of Neelam and is now in the captivity of Neelam Pari. If he had not acted in haste and had met me, I would have given him the ring of Hazrat Sulman alayhi salam. Because of that ring, Neelam Pari herself would have given him permission to get water of Neelam. Now you wear this ring. Firstly, whatever you wish will happen due to its blessings. And secondly, you will also free my son from the captivity of Neelam Pari." Safiya took the ring from the Jinn King and wore it on her finger. Now she felt very relaxed. The Jinn King said to her, "Now, close your eyes and plan to reach the palace of Neelam Pari." Safiya did not do anything as per the Jinn King's instructions. According to her, she closed her eyes, and when she opened them, she was indeed present in a very beautiful palace, seeing which many fairies surrounded her from all sides. Meanwhile, Neelam Fairy also reached there. She was very angry, but as soon as her eyes fell on the ring of Hazrat Sulman al-Salam, she softened up and asked with great affection and love, "Oh good girl, why have you come to us?" Safiya told her the purpose of her visit. Lam Fairy ordered the guarding fairies to release that Jinzaid and bring him here. Then in a short while Jinzaid was also brought there. There were many days on the second night of the moon, so Neelam Fairy kept both of them as her guests for those days and welcomed them very well. The night which was the 14th day of the moon, Neelam Fairy herself obtained sapphire water in a small pitcher and presented it in the service of Safiya in the morning. Now it was useless for them to stay there. They took permission from Neelam Fairy and returned. Here Safiya they. Qazi was very worried. The king had also ordered him to appear in his court soon and inform him about the situation. Now when the Qazi saw Safiya and Jinzaid, he was very happy. Safiya narrated the entire story to her father in brief. The Qazi sent his servants and immediately called the old woman and her son. When both of them came to him, the Qazi put a few drops of sapphire in the boy's eye, due to which his eye was completely cured immediately and its sight was restored. Seeing this, the old woman was very happy. The Qazi said, "Sister, now you have no complaint against the person who had damaged your son's eye." The old woman said, "No, sir, now I have no complaint against anyone. My son's eye has been cured. Now I have nothing more to say." Saying this, both mother and son happily left from there. Seeing this, the Qazi said to Jin's aide, "Now you can go and yes, take this ring and convey my greetings to your father and my regards." Thanking Jin went away with the ring. The next day the Qazi appeared in the court of the king and told the whole story. The king said, "I had expected this from you. I knew that there is definitely a reason for your attitude. I am also very proud of your brave daughter. I want to make her my daughter-in-law." On hearing this, the Qazi said, "Your Majesty, this will be an honor for me and my daughter." And then a few days before the day fixed for the marriage of Safiya and the prince, the king of Jinat appeared in the service of that king and said, "O king, you will have to come to my village with your son's wedding procession and not to the house of the Qazi." The king accepted this. Here the king of Jinat took the Qazi and his daughter to his village. And then that day also came when the king reached the village of Jinat with the wedding procession. There he was welcomed with such a grand welcome that what would any king have done? Such gifts were presented that the king and his companions were surprised. And then Safiya reached the palace of the king sitting in a palanquin from the Jinat colony. Everybody started laughing and living happily.